This is a dream.
All right, welcome in everybody. This is week 4 of the API tournament, the Asian Pacific American Invitational Hell Let Loose competitive 35v35. BR1 versus FOCU. Both teams are currently undefeated in pool play. This will be BR1's last match in pool play. We'll see if they're able to come out on top and score that coveted 4-0, or if they fall today to FOCU. Regardless of how things shake out, though, it does look like BR1's going to make it into the semifinals. This match is all about seeding, but we will see. And as you can see today, they are back on Herkin. This is their home field. Of the last 4 matches, they have played 3 on Herkin, so we will see how this goes. Just a reminder, the first 2 rounds of this tournament during pool play that were on Herkin, they had the Scar as the middle point, and we all know Scar is a tough one. So we will see how it works out from today, what points they get, and see what kind of match we're going to have. Regardless, it is going to be a great match today. 2 fantastic teams. FOCU is a combination team of 2 communities that are together, and of course BR1 is BR1, as we have seen. With me, as always, is Shammer in the booth. We are excited to bring this match to you. We do not have an interview today, as the team is deep in concentration getting ready for this match. All right, Shammer, it's Herkin. This is where we've been before. We know what the map is like. You know, what do you need to see out of both teams? What are your 3 keys to the game today for victory?
Well, you know, Matt, our keys to the victory for BR1, you know, they're going to have to come out fast and aggressive.
This is a dream.
You know, last 3 or 4 maps have been on Herkin. They're extremely familiar with all map layout and how to play it. BR1 has had historically fast starts in the APA. They always seem to get right off to the bat. They always seem to get those trucks right to the objective. So there's 3 keys I'm looking for today is fast start. I'm looking for good gear placement. And I'm also looking for good on time with the artillery. I know the artillery is going to play a big factor in today because FOCU probably got some good guys of their own. I'm looking for the artillery to really be a factor today because it's going to make or break. It's going to mess up the attack or the defense on the point.
All right, yeah, and what I'm looking for today is obviously a fast start from each team. A fast start is going to be very important, especially if that midpoint is Scar again, because we have seen in the past how hard that is to take, and all of you that play Hell Let Loose know how hard Scar is to take because the open ground, the concealed approaches, and the sheer number of defensible positions around that point. I also want to see BR1 get their armor a little bit more into it today. I haven't seen any of FOCU's armor play, so I don't know if they're going to follow the normal strategy of sitting them back and using them as mobile artillery positions. However, I do want to see BR1 get their armor a little bit more involved. I feel like it's been hanging back a little too much. We'll see what they do. And my 3rd key to the game is going to be that rotational defense that we have seen BR1 do so well in the past. They have done such a fantastic job rotating their defenses to where they need to be. So we will see how it goes today. Now, looking at what's coming out, we have about a minute or less, hopefully, till map flip. It looks like most of the teams are in. Yeah, it looks like we got everybody in. We're just waiting on map flip today. Thank you for tuning in. Again, this is the last round of pool play for the Asian Pacific American Invitational Tournament. BR1 will not be playing next week, so they will have a bye, prepping themselves for that semifinal round. FOCU will be having a round next week. I will be taking next week off as well, give myself a break before we move into the semifinals and finals of the APA Invitational. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Here we go. Again, this is 35v35 FOCU versus BR1 Herkin Forest. We are just waiting for that map flip. Something I also want to see today, Shammer, and I think we saw a little bit of that at BR1 last week. or not last week, the week before on Hurricane, is I want to see a little bit more flanking maneuvers. I know last time we played Hurricane and we had Coal Trail as that next point right up from Scar. That's a really tough direction to go right up that mountainside. It took them a very long time to rotate that attack across. So I want to see if they're able to take advantage of the map and the concealment that this map does offer, using the non-burn trees and using that river to their advantage. Here we go, everybody. We have a map flip. We are about to go live. Thank you again for tuning in. As BR1 is getting everything set up, getting their squads going, getting myself spawned in. Did forget to mention BR1 are allies today, and we have FOCU as Axis. I'm going to get in here. Once I get in and where I need to be, I will give you guys the map so you can see what we're looking at. Alright, here's the map. It looks like we are going to be having Mossback Approach, way back overlook, North Pass, all the way down there to Jacob's Barn, and then Logging Camp to finish. This is definitely a different layout than we have seen in the past. This is going to be really good for BR1. Scar's not going to be there. They're going to have to deal with North Pass. A lot of this on the top is going to be easily defended there, as teams are going to have to push through it. They are going to be open up the flanks, and however, FOCU has two very good defensible positions there with Jacob's Barn and Logging Camp with a lot of terrain in between, so that is also going to help them if they get pushed back to that point. So looking at the map, I think this is going to be very interesting to see how both teams handle their fallback positions, what kind of defenses we see, and what kind of combat we're going to see over at North Pass, considering it is right there on the very northern tip of the map. We're going to head on over here to North Pass so everyone can get a look at what we see here. As you can see, from BR1 side, we have a lot of buildings here that they can get into, give themselves a lot of cover. Very limited river crossings, which is what Hurricane is known for. I just realized I never went live for you guys. So here's the map. Now you can see it. Mossback, way back. North Pass, Jacob's Barn, Logging Camp. Those are those points. This is what we're looking at. And as you can see, lots of buildings here on North Pass for the allies to defend with. Get good cover from artillery and from bombing strikes and everything like that. While on the other side, where FOCU is going to be coming in, you have an extensive trench system. You have a couple bunkers in the back as well, some blown out buildings, and of course the Dragon Teeth, which provide you a little bit of cover to sit behind and pick off defenders. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes, how each team approaches getting to North Pass. As we can see from the map, there are direct roads from that top spawn for each side. I do not know which side has the advantage, but just looking at the map, it looks like the allies have the advantage. It's much more of a straight shot getting down there, whereas Axis needs to get up a little bit more, and they have to work their way through those trees. So we will see as we count down 3 seconds to match time. Here we go. We are now live. The match is on as we are going to take a look. As we see supplies dropping for BR1 in the back as well. Looks like BR1's having a good approach coming from all directions. We're going to see their trucks appearing here soon. We're not going to see them yet because of all the woods and the hills. We're going to take a look over here. And there we go. We have FOCU coming in with their first truckload. Looks like they are going to beat BR1 as we have two squads bumping out here. As FOCU is also going to try to push this truck right across the bridge and get on the other side and solidify themselves. As we see the BR1 truck trying to get down, taking fire from a very well-positioned armor piece up there at the radar station. That is a great spot for armor to overlook this, as we have FOCU starting to cap. As we see BR1 spreading out from both sides. As we see an immediate flare pop from FOCU trying to give themselves a positioning of the BR1 approach. So two very different starts off here. As we can see FOCU bringing their armor into play early. As we have a light piece coming down the hill there. and another heavy piece in the back, providing that artillery support. As we do see BR1 assault across the river, pushing in from that side. BR1 has started to contest. They have now, looks like it's going to be back and forth, and we go contest, non-contest, as we have BR1 now capping and pushing FOCU off the point with the assault from the south and the numbers getting into the village, as we can see here, as we do see that light piece of armor coming over, starting to wreak havoc here against BR1 as they are now moving through town, giving their infantry support as FOCU is now also starting to cap. Again, they have bodies on the point. So that is a very fast start for both teams, as we can see mass amount of bodies everywhere. FOCU pushing across the bridge, knowing that there's going to be better cover on this side for them. There's going to be much better cover on BR1's side of the river with the village, and it's also going to be harder to dislodge them out of that. FOCU now at about 50% of the cap. However, nobody has secured this yet. As we can see, BR1 assault squads in the distance on FOCU's side of the river, trying to push them off and coming from a different direction. As we can just hear that Lux right there, that is tagged, just wreaking havoc as it takes a hit from one BR1 AT trooper, which is what we have seen in the past. BR1 being very good about swarming armor, as it just went out by an AT trooper as well. So there we go. BR1 takes out the first armor kill of the game. However, that is not helping them in the cap race, as FOCU is about to cap. So, Shammer, with this cap, as we see FOCU about to solidify it, what are your thoughts on the openings from each team? And there, before you start, there is the cap. FOCU officially owns North Pass.
FOCU just, they had a better route, and they got a little bit of aggressive with that truck getting across the bridge there. That was a little bit of a key factor to a start there. They made an aggressive move, and it paid off early on.
I agree, but as we can see here, with the way that BR1 has spread out along the backside of this point into tree line, and with their assault forces across the river, they are pulling a lot of FOCU assets back. As we can see, there's two full squads back there playing off the point, as BR1 is slowly starting to cap North Pass. So BR1 getting those bodies across, I think that's going to be very important in the long run if they can cut through those defenders and force those FOCU assets to stay in the hard cap down here at North Pass. As we can see, the squad that is currently down there taking lots of hits from the BR1 artillery. So far, very action-packed start. As we can see, something gets blown up down there. I do not know if that was a piece of BR1 armor or not, but that vehicle going down could play a factor, unless that was, of course, a transport truck. So as we can see here, BR1 still doing what they can to hold FOCU on this hard cap, as we have these squads lined up right in the tree line, using the concealment to their advantage. We have one BR1 squad member just hanging out down there, hoping not to get seen. As Peace Officer has another, as he takes out FOCU Pariah, and he gets taken out as well. But he was able to take out a squad leader there. Fantastic job by Peace Officer, not giving his position away until he was able to at least get a kill. As we can see over here, that BR1 assault from across the river is slowly getting dismantled by these FOCU defenders, as they are spreading out almost into Scar to clear and push any type of BR1 resistance out. Fantastic spread by that defensive unit, as it looks like they're also preparing to push down to the river and possibly cross over, as there is a nice little spawn for BR1 right on an OP, as their squad leader goes down. But Mickey Free, Lord Jelly, and Timmy Two Straps are down there doing what they can to keep the pressure on. Jelly goes down. Mickey goes down as well. The FOCU defense is doing a fantastic job over there, keeping the assault forces for BR1 at a distance. one of the difficult things here for either team that are going to have to push North Pass is that they do not have a northern flank to really use. They have that bridge and the south. They have a lot in the south, but they don't have anything to the north to flank around, so their attack vectors are very limited. So we will see how that plays into BR1 trying to retake that point. As we can see, BR1 defense spreading out about all over, way back overlook. Having the height advantage, able to shoot down at any attackers that decide to start coming up those hillsides. And as we can see, FOCU still really staying on their side of the river, holding down as we have another assault spawn down there. We got smoke popping as well. As we can see, the FOCU defense actually kind of spreading out away from that OP. So we will see if BR1 is actually going to be able to take advantage of this. As we can see, BR1's line forming very well along this ridge line to keep FOCU where they don't want to be, which is stuck down in North Pass and on the other side of the river. As we watch this assault squad start moving up. As Prince takes out an FOCU MG, and they're going to now start moving up that hillside to start hopefully dislodging some of these FOCU defenders. As we can see here, FOCU squad leader and a couple others who are starting to work their way up to that bunker complex, probably to try to get a flanking movement on Overlook. But BR1 is doing a fantastic job holding FOCU here at this midpoint with that line along the ridge. However, I am worried about this flank as we are seeing movement from FOCU pushing up that hillside using that road to their advantage. Shammer, first impressions, 10 minutes in.
10 minutes in? Well, FOCU has established, their prerogative early on. They're going to, hold North Pass, with all they can. BR1, has a beautiful line going down, and they're going back to their classic tried and true tactic, throw a probing attack squad out there and pull assets away from the defense of the objective, and it's, they're pulling assets, twofold away, and as you can see, it's thinning out FOCU.
Yeah, as we can see right here on North Pass, there are not many FOCU defenders left, as we do have this BR1 squad, whether it's a defense flex or assault squad, now clearing the area out and starting to cap because they have more bodies. We will see when FOCU gets a spawn wave, but if BR1 can get in and take out OPs or the garrison, they may be able to steal this from FOCU. As we can see, the BR1 defense, again, holding this ridgeline, doing a fantastic job. We do have a piece, as it was just marked, piece of FOCU armor there along the road, holding down that flank through the burned trees. But we can see here now, one BR1 squad is starting to move in. It was just contested by bodies by FOCU, but we do have BR1 squad moving in, trying to get into that urban environment to give themselves some cover. As we can see, this squad up here doing a really good job of pushing back any type of advance from FOCU, trying to get up into these trees and provide a flank. And there's a spawn right there by FOCU, right in that blown out building, that right on the hard cap, which is going to give them a numerical superiority, and they're going to reverse the cap pressure BR1's put on. But BR1 is making great inroads, pushing in through town, trying to find a position, trying to find these Garys and OPs to push them out. As we can also see, this assault squad with Mickey, and Lord Jelly, and Prince doing a great job up in this bunker complex and trench complex, slowly clearing out as BR1 is starting to cap. Just got reversed. However, they are maintaining pressure. The only reason it got reversed was that right there, and an artillery strike just takes out 3 FOCU defenders. Great job on the guns there. As we're going to come in and see what we got down here. See if that... There's the Gary that needs to be taken out right by the bridge. If BR1 can get there, I think they can take this point. But they're going to have to get all the way to the bridge, right in the middle of the cap. And FOCU is going to have the advantage that every time they spawn, they get the hard cap spawn, which is, of course, going to increase their capping power. As BR1, again, is starting to cap. And there's a bombing run. I believe that's going to be FOCU's bombing run, trying to clear out a BR1 assault. However, they missed. They maybe got one BR1 member, as BR1 is going to continue their pushing. As there goes a flare. And there's another contest and another flip of the roles there by FOCU as they're holding this. And as we can see right here, using that armor to hold that bridge line, to hold that approach. That's a great use of armor. BR1 has contested again. They are starting to cap. As we can see here in the distance, that squad struggling to find the assault squad that is led by Prince. Fantastic job moving off the X and getting away from where they were originally spawning, making those defenders having to look around, having to waste time trying to find targets. As we can see, that garrison was taken out. So BR1 now is a quarter capped on North Pass. They have the advantage. FOCU's had to spawn a little bit further back here as we see them pushing in, trying to get cap pressure. As we see BR1 doing a great job keeping bodies into squares around to apply that cap pressure. FOCU did just flip it, but BR1 now is maintaining cap pressure. They are about a third capped. BR1 doing a fantastic job here, and we've seen this all tournament. They are very persistent when they are attacking. They do not give up. Even if it's one squad against two, they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And that is what we're seeing here. Is BR1 is 50% done with the cap as FOCU gets some bodies across the river and starting to flip it in their favor again. And you see right here with the commander doing a great job getting his boys across the river, getting them where they need to be. But BR1 is just relentless, using that ridgeline to their advantage, getting down into town and really putting the pressure on these FOCU defenders. As we see this assault force here holding position, trying to support from the rear, taking fire from that piece of armor out there in the distance. However, they're in a good position to move on and take out garrisons. So we will see how they do there as we see some supplies dropping down here for FOCU to get more bodies on the field. That was an airhead right there that was dropped. We will see here, Black and Dust is able to take out a squad leader, but he has another squad leader coming from behind. We'll see if he sees him. No, Black and Dust goes out. That airhead is about to be active and get a spawn for FOCU, as FOCU is able to fully cap, but BR1 is maintaining that contest. They're doing a fantastic job keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, and you can see that attacking unit there. They spotted that airhead that came down, and you can see all those marks that pop up on that building. Those guys are clearly watching the backside of that building, and they can see the FOCU guys roaming back there. So them being back there is doing twofold. They're not only are they hunting garrisons, but they're acting almost as a spotter group as well.
And there goes a bombing run right there, right across North Pass. Not very effective. It took only out one or two of the defenders. However, that would take out any type of spawn point that was there for FOCU. So great job by Tranic, the BR1 commander, dropping that right across the hard point, trying to push FOCU defenders out. As we can see real quick, over on Overlook, we do have FOCU contesting. We're going to come take a look here as BR1 has started capping North Pass. We have 3 FOCU members right here at Overlook trying to do what they can. They have started a cap. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a cap race as BR1 defense is now collapsing down on Overlook. But as we can see, the FOCU assault group here has solidified themselves in houses. It's going to be very hard for the BR1 defense to dislodge them. So what they need right now is a cap race to go in their favor, which FOCU just countered it. But BR1 getting more bodies into the hard cap has countered this push. As one defender goes down and one attacker goes down, BR1 has Overlook solidly in their possession now. Great job by that defense for rotating over, taking care of business. As we can see, there's only 2 FOCU attackers, a squad, and there's a spawn back there. It looks like there's an OP in the back. So defense is going to have to stay on top of that. We're going to go back over to North Pass as we can and take a look. As we can see, FOCU holding on to this western side of the bridge with everything they've got. As BR1 is holding them in that position, doing what they can to keep this pressure on as we do, you know, that BR1 assault force over here in the back just wreaking havoc, doing a fantastic job. You know, their supplies going down for Garrison. It's going down right on top of this assault squad for BR1. So they're going to be able to take that out pretty quickly if they can work their way down, as there are MGs holding that position and keeping them off those supplies. However, they're going to do a good job at any spawn or any SL that tries to get there to use that. Will most likely get cut down. As we can see, BR1 really trying to push in from this ridge line, trying to get what they can, trying to put the pressure on North Pass, using the town to advantage, getting into those alleyways, using those walls and houses to push through. As we can see, FOCU here at the top now, they are starting to collapse on this BR1 assault squad that is in this bunker complex. We will see as we have one BR1 member who just went down, take out 2 of the defenders there. That was Lord Jelly taking out 2 defenders into trees. Great job. And that squad leader goes down as well. So that assault squad is doing what it needs in the back. However, Overlook is getting... We have another cap race. Overlook took some pressure. As we can see, almost a full squad here of FOCU trying to push into this point and keep that pressure on BR1, but those defenders, one squad, is doing a fantastic job of holding this assault off. As BR1 continues to put pressure on North Pass, and they are capping. We do have a cap race right now, as BR1 defense needs to get in and clear these FOCU members out, and they have. It has just been contested again. BR1 continuing to cap on North Pass. If this is a cap race and BR1 can maintain pressure on North Pass, they will win this cap race. However, FOCU flips it again by just keeping bodies in that hard cap right there. They're using that building by the bridge as their spawn point. I would have to believe there's an OP over here somewhere for them. That is why they are able to spawn there. And every time that squad spawns, it does what it needs to do and adds a cap. And pushes BR1 off of the cap. So fantastic job so far by both sides, tenaciously attacking and holding North Pass as FOCU keeps applying pressure back on Overlook, but that BR1 defensive squad, with the flexibility and movement that they've been practicing, is doing a fantastic job of keeping them off that point, as BR1 is capping yet again on North Pass. We are over 20 minutes in, and right now it is FOCU 3, BR1 2, with BR1 putting the pressure on the midpoint, as we see supplies going down on North Pass to try to get a garrison up for FOCU. We'll see how BR1 decides to handle that, as they are a third capped on North Pass. As we see the supplies hit right over there, we'll see if a squad leader, one of these 2 squad leaders right here, are able to get a garrison down. And we can see also this BR1 assault squad has been behind the lines the entire time, doing a fantastic job. They are still there, taking out reinforcements as they're coming from the rear. BR1 over 50% capped now. They are maintaining the constant pressure by staying outside of the hard cap and playing the numbers game. They're about 2/3 capped. Fantastic job by BR1 in knowing where they can be to apply cap pressure and doing a fantastic job of it, as we do see one squad leader for BR1 hanging out right down here, right in the river, taking those supplies out. That will be Huzzah. That is actually the BR1 team captain taking those supplies out, as there was a spawn with a garrison right there. As Huzzah goes down, that spawn was able to reverse the cap pressure into FOCU's favor. FOCU is also bringing their armor piece on the bridge now. That Panther is going to have to get off the bridge. That is a very dangerous position to be in.
Yeah, all it takes is someone to sneak under that bridge, and you can literally put a satchel on top, above your head, underneath that bridge, and blow that whole tank right apart.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very dangerous position. However, FOCU getting a lot of bodies now on point, using that OP and that garrison placement, doing a fantastic job of holding this point, while BR1 is still trying to push in. But this is the most action that we have had on a midpoint in Hurtgen this entire match for BR1. Going back and forth, back and forth.
I'm almost wondering if FOCU's by pulling their armor up, is getting a little bit frustrated at BR1's defense and the mobility of it.
Very well could be the fact, as we do see a change of vector as we have another assault squad on the other side of the river pushing into the point. Looks like they're going to try to take these defenders out from the far side. I mean, changing vector attacks is the name of the game here as artillery takes out a squad leader up there on the right-hand side of the screen for BR1. But getting those different vectors of attack keeps defenders on their toes, forcing defenses to get out of whatever defensible positions they have created and go to try to find new positions. We do see a flare go up for FOCU to show the defenders. As we can see, the defenders starting to rotate to the riverside. However, what they may not see is an entire squad of BR1 sitting on the ridgeline just waiting for those defenders to vacate their position and rush in. As we see a large explosion, that garrison is still up, though. That garrison for FOCU is still up in that courtyard, providing them a very good defensive spawn. As we can now see a large FOCU presence there behind where that assault squad was, up in the hills on that bunker complex. That BR1 assault squad has been pushed out of that position. It's a good job by those FOCU defenders to get behind that and basically push them into an opening where they're going to be sandwiched between both sets of defense. But this BR1 squad that is using the river is doing a fantastic job of using that concealment, trying to push across. I mean, so far, almost a third in a match in, a very even match between FOCU and BR1. The key point right now, as we see that Panther get taken out on the bridge, I believe, yes, BR1 was able to get an AT gun built in that tree line, providing them it. I mean, they just got taken out. However, taking out that Panther and providing somewhat of a closer artillery support, that was fantastic. As BR1 did start a cap, it has been reversed, but that's a great spot for a AT gun. As we now can see the FOCU defenders trying to get up there and take it out. As there it goes. As I believe that was a shot from a piece of armor that took it out. However, I cannot see the armor. However, great job by FOCU to take that out with that long-range shot, take out the AT gun. That took the Panther out. But right now, BR1 has no armor in the area. That is an advantage for them. They don't have to deal with any German armor. As we can see, infantry units trying to get their way across, trying to get into this area. But we can just see FOCU defenders streaming in from that ridgeline there with the trees.
Yeah, and right now, so far, it's what it seemed to be is it seems to be kind of, a little bit of a stalemate going on. I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, Madra, but I haven't seen Allied armor in the AO.
There's our first. There's our first peek of Allied armor in the AO right there coming down the road.
So what that can do is that's going to act as twofold, because now they're going to have armor in the area, and they just got rid of the Panther. So it's going to give them a leg up when it comes to an attack here.
Very true. Now instead of BR1 having to fight against their armor, they're able to fight with armor, which can give them advantage if they're able to get down there and take out that garrison. That garrison in that courtyard down there on North Pass is what is giving FOCU the advantage, because it is a protected spawn point. They are protected on three sides from any type of gunfire, and that is a very hard spot to get artillery into that tiny. As we can see, as I say that, of course, BR1 artillery drops a shell right on it. However, that is not going to take out the garrison. They need to get bodies on it to take it out. As we can see, BR1 pushing through, starting to cap. They are almost at a quarter. As there we see 2 more spawn, as we see BR1 come around the corner there, taking out 1, taking out 2. They now, oh, I don't know if that was friendly fire or not, but as we can see a squad leader here moving in for that garrison, is he could be able to get it before artillery hits. That is Hawkman moving in. He's able to get that defensive garrison down. That means the next closest garrison is at least 200 meters away. That is going to give BR1 a huge advantage here as they are now pushing to cap this. They're about a quarter of the way through their cap. As we can see, BR1 is just flooding this west side. There's just a few squad leaders for FOCU on the other side as spawns just keep dropping. And there goes a bombing run coming right across the bridge, right across the river. That is really going to open up the cap possibility for BR1. As they are over 50%, we are now, as we also, here comes an airhead for FOCU. Is this a last-ditch effort for them to get bodies on the point, or is this going to be a distraction trying to pull BR1 away from their assault? As we see FOCU doing a great job countering this with this spawn back here. As this squad is now moving in, countering with bodies. They are currently recapping as we see FOCUs all over the eastern side using those tiger teeth to their advantage, or dragon's teeth, as they are pushing. But BR1 did have this almost halfway capped. If they can get more bodies on a point, they can continue their cap pressure. As we can see, right there, right along this river line, you can see FOCU concentrating, getting their bodies across underneath the bridge. With BR1 artillery mark right there, trying to get them taken out. As we can see right here, Sea Green trying to hold that corner down, trying to keep FOCU from fully getting their bodies across. But FOCU is able to push across very well, and there's another airhead on the back side there for FOCU to get more bodies on this point. As you look from this angle, FOCU able to concentrate their forces right near the hard point and get those bodies in. As there's a fantastic rocket takes out a spawn for BR1 right there. Sea Green's squad gets taken out. Sea Green is still alive, doing what he can. As we do have supplies coming down for BR1, they may be able to get an OP down, which will help their efforts here. As we do have an assault squad again for BR1 pushing across the river. Does not look like they're going to run across much resistance. There is one FOCU squad leader in those trees, as we have a full squad of BR1 pushing up through the trees across the river from Scar. And BR1, again, has started to cap. They are capping yet again. And with a couple well-placed shells, it looks like FOCU has reversed that. But BR1 is sitting right on the edge of this cap. They just need bodies in. We see FOCU trying to consolidate their defensive position. Trying to consolidate on the west side of the river and keep BR1 from pushing in. As we can see, 3 squad leaders pushing up for FOCU, and OP goes down. Squad leader goes down there. But as you can see, BR1 is just, they're using the south to their advantage here. They're really pushing their units up through the south while holding from the west, pushing from the south, using multiple attack vectors, keeping FOCU defense on their toes. Let's go take a look at just a assault squad for BR1 that was pushing up through these trees. They've lost a couple members, but they're still doing a really good job, and it looks like they're going to be pushing down into that bunker complex, as BR1, again, has cap pressure, and they are capping. And FOCU, with a spawn, flips it again.
One thing I'm looking for here is that BR1 armor piece to probably move up a little bit and get more engaged in the game here. I know it's sitting back a little ways, but I want to see kind of get a little bit more aggressive here with the engagements.
I will say where they're at right now is they're able to protect this hillside. They don't want to get too exposed because there is that Panther sitting on that hill waiting for them to expose themselves. And here, it looks like the armor unit is looking to make a move. We'll see what happens here. They're now going to follow that line into North Pass, as BR1 does have cap pressure again, and they are starting that cap. FOCU is able to reverse it yet again with very good spawns and very good placement of OPs and garrisons in the spawn, in the hard cap, and in the area that they need to spawn into to reverse any type of pressure. So FOCU doing a fantastic job with those placements. BR1 is going to have to really start clearing every courtyard, every little nook and cranny, trying to remove these spawn points to give themselves the advantage. The assault squad up in the bunker complex is doing a fantastic job as well, splitting attention. We will see how that goes here in a second, as FOCU is committing a large amount of their assets to North Pass. "12, 13 bodies at a time. Almost half of their forces are on North Pass, and as we look back to Overlook, there's not many FOCU players back there. There's one squad leader probably looking for a spot to put an OP to get a squad. But what is also concerning me is BR1 only has one squad leader back here. Their defense is going to have a long way to go if this cap starts going in FOCU's favor. So this is where BR1 is going to have to be very flexible. As we also see an FOCU team there in the distance moving through the burned out trees. This is going to be very interesting to see how Overlook is handled if this FOCU squad leader, who has contested, is able to get an OP down and push bodies onto that point. BR1 is almost at cap for North Pass. They are putting the pressure, as we have another squad leader falling back to assist at Overlook. But BR1 on both sides of the river really pushing FOCU up against the border of the map, really limiting their movement. That is a fantastic strategical decision as they're moving up, really limiting avenues of approach for reinforcements. As we see approach getting capped by FOCU, BR1 has started a cap that just got reversed at North Pass. And there we go. We have a squad leader and AT trooper for FOCU, and we have two squad leaders for BR1 at Overpass. However, we do have a sniper in the background, a marksman for FOCU. BR1's going to have to rotate their defenses back quickly to counteract this, as they are losing approach. Without a lot of defense coming back, I see three squad leaders for BR1, and that is it, as it is contested. And moving back into BR1's favor with the three squad leaders. However, I do feel that they're going to have to get more bodies on a point, as we can see more spawns for FOCU Assault moving in. BR1 almost has completely solidified Overlook again. We will see if they're able to before a contest happens. There's a defensive squad right there pushing up the road to assist, clear it out. They now are going to have the bodies on, as there is a spawn and a contest from FOCU. As we can see, Peace Officer, Satchel, Sexy T-Rexy, Mr. Miata pushing in, taking out Gremlin, but Run, Lord Boo, and Poo Tang, along with three others, are still there for FOCU, putting the pressure on the BR1 defense, which there's not a lot right now. It seems like BR1 is putting a lot of their assets on this front attack, as we do have another squad leader spawning here for BR1 on a spawn point, trying to push in. FOCU about a quarter capped on Overlook, as they are now spreading about nicely with 5 bodies on point. And there's another BR1 spawn now trying to push in, trying to reverse this. As we can see, the squad leader right there just gets taken out right by... Yellow Swag gets taken out right by an OP. But it looks like he's able to take that assaulting OP out. That's going to be key for BR1 in their defensive overlook if they're able to dislodge the FOCU defenders. However, FOCU is 50% capped on overlook. BR1 defense is going to have to push up here and reverse this if their assaulting forces have any hope of capping this, as we do have BR1 armor now pushing in to provide support for the defense. And BR1 has started reversing the cap back in their favor. But FOCU is contesting again. FOCU doing a great job of taking out these individual BR1 players as they're running out and about. Armor taking out the squad leader for FOCU. Another spawn for BR1 as they're over 50%. That's a great rotation there, Shammer, don't you think?
Yeah, it seems like FOCU is kind of, throwing all their eggs in a basket, trying to, pull BR1 away. And from what I see right now, they did a successful job. It just a matter of time before I believe BR1's going to regroup, clear those OPs, and start pushing back down the hill again. Yeah,
and as we can see here, BR1 all but abandoned North Pass to fall back on defense besides the one assault squad across the river who's still doing a great job keeping attention back there. We will see what avenues BR1 is going to decide to go with when they start pushing, as we have supplies coming down right over by the spotter, as there's a FOCU Hubert moving in on the supplies to try to take him out. And the spotter does not see him. Looks like those supplies are going to be taken down. Great job by Hubert getting over there and doing what he needs to do, as they have been taken out. What worries me now is BR1 is going to have a lot of ground to cover in order to get back into that assault footing. As we can see, a majority of their forces defending Overlook, stopping a very pointed attack from FOCU. It's going to be very interesting to see what avenue BR1 decides to push, as we see a three-man spawn by a squad in this trench for FOCU. As we see two go down almost immediately. Camo and Gremlin go down. I believe there's the OP right there, as we have three more spawn. Hawkman taking out one, taking out Repurpo. Taking out Soups. And now there's only Lord Boo, and Hawkman's able to take out him as well. And they're able to take out that attacking OP. So great job by the BR1 defense. They're pushing out and clearing those OPs. As we can see, BR1 starting to push back to their ridgeline, starting to gain that height advantage again, starting to reconsolidate their forces to push in. BR1 is going to have to do something to get into North Pass. We are almost 45 minutes in. FOCU holding 3 points. BR1 holding 2. BR1 has been close to taking that midpoint, taking North Pass a few times. However, FOCU doing a fantastic job getting their defensive spawns where they need to be, as BR1 has started to put cap pressure on North Pass. They are starting to cap it.
It looks like we have an armor-on-armor battle going on.
As some piece of equipment just got blown up. Right over. It looks like, yes, the FOCU Panther was taken out as it was there providing some type of support on defense. But right now, BR1 is going to have to get bodies on the point, as we can see a limited amount of defenders on the position. So BR1 is going to have to find these spawn points and take them out. And they are starting to cap again as the assault squads have moved across the river, and they are using those trees to the south to their advantage, pushing through that bunker complex. Again, BR1 doing a really good job of really pushing FOCU's back against the wall by coming up from the south. On both sides of the river, just pushing that defense. As we can see, BR1 continuing their cap pressure. They're almost a quarter capped. Doing a really good job keeping that pressure on, as we do see another Panther moving through here for FOCU, falling back. As we can,
now, I'm interested to see Matador, because there is that Allied armor piece that's overlooking the hill right now, and it did take out that other FOCU armor piece. If it's going to start engaging that FOCU armor piece here any moment.
It looks like both pieces of BR1 armor was taken out, as we do have both pieces moving their way up. That was a very... Did that get it? Yes, there was a fantastic rocket shot from up on the hill to take out what was marked as a garrison by BR1. So we will see if, one, that was a garrison and that was their spawn point, and two, how that's going to help them out. As there's no supplies, they're going to have to get another garrison built if that truly was a garrison.
And those AT troopers, it's BR1 strength. Those boys are really good on the sticks.
As we see that squad leader who looked like he was trying to get something up gets taken out without being able to get up any type of garrison that I can see. There could be one hidden in the buildings, however, but we can see BR1 reestablish themselves along this ridgeline as they have previously. They have started cap. We have a much larger presence of BR1 on the hillside up in the bunker complex, so we will see how that works out for them. FOCU keeping this Panther right behind that cover, doing a good job of acting as that mobile artillery pieces. We do have supplies coming down for FOCU to try to get another garrison built back up. And here's the other piece of FOCU armor, sitting a little bit further back. It is another heavy piece. It is another Panther. Just providing cover on that hillside, keeping those assault forces for BR1 down. Keeping their heads down. As we do have a contest over at Overlook. As a piece of BR1 armor just got taken out here. Thick Cut Bacon takes out Hugh with a pistol after his armor was hit. Fantastic job there. But we do see I Run and Lord Boo moving into Overlook, keeping the pressure on the BR1 defense, as well as another squad leader here moving down the ridge line for FOCU. But BR1 defense doing a fantastic job of rotating. There goes a flare by the BR1 spotter. As one, I believe that was I Run, gets taken out by the BR1 defense. The BR1 defense again solidly taking control of Overlook, as there is a contest now on North Pass. As we can see, BR1 has an assault squad pushing through the burned out trees. They also have this assault squad holding this ridge line. Squad leader in town and another squad up in those trees, really doing a good job of splitting FOCU's forces.
I tend to notice the last couple of minutes, BR1's gunplay has been really on point. Some of these twos and ones exchanges, what I think they would end up coming short on, BR1 has been dropping these FOCU guys, but FOCU has been doing the same thing. So gunplay seems to be pretty even across the board when it comes to both teams today.
I mean, there's a big spawn for FOCU. They did get that Gary up behind that warehouse by the rail tracks on the west side of the bridge. They do really like that position. They've been using it a lot. It's a hard position to get to because it is tucked right up in the north side of the map. So again, you lose your flanking ability, as we did have a little bit of a contest over at Overlook. Let's go take a look. Yeah, as we can see, FOCU starting to cap. We have 3 bodies here. Hugh is moving in with Soups and Lord Boo again. Really pushing in, putting the pressure on BR1. They are about a quarter capped as they work their way into buildings there. As is now contested. Flare goes up for BR1. And FOCU maintaining the pressure, maintaining the cap. Who is this? As Hugh takes out 2 BR1 members moving around that building. Seagreen's able to take out Soup. So BR1 is starting to cap again. And regain Overlook. But with just under 40 minutes, it is still FOCU in control of this battle. 3-2, putting pressure on Overlook, forcing BR1 to pull assets back and defend the point. BR1 does have bodies spread out along that bunker line and the trench line behind FOCU, attempting to find a way in, but we do see an FOCU squad in the back there pushing up against them as well. Really good rotational defense there by FOCU coming in, knowing where BR1 wants to be and meeting them there as we see Timmy Two Straps go down up among those crates.
It makes you wonder just at what point is BR1 going to try a risky sellout to take this North Pass here, and get a little bit of aggressive test the waters.
Yeah, but it appears to me that BR1's defensive strategy for this round so far has been leave 1, maybe 2 squad leaders back on defense so they can drop OPs and have their defensive players drop into those squads when needed. Doing a very good job of doing squad swapping. And that way they're able to keep a large portion of their forces hitting North Pass. But what I've been seeing is the key for FOCU's defense of North Pass has been their proclivity to hold armor back and using it as kind of that mobile artillery piece. That's really been stymieing BR1's attempt to get down off this ridgeline. While the height works in their advantage, it also works against them, as they can be easier to see moving down through those trees.
And I've been counting some of the shots here from the FOCU's armor. At some point here, they're going to have to go back for a refit, because you can't keep firing forever. You do have limited ammo, and these tanks have been firing, pretty at will all game.
Agreed. You make a very good point, as we do have another Panther as well using those as cover as well. As it looks like a piece of BR1 armor did just go down on that hillside, and there's a bombing run by FOCU to try to remove BR1 off that ridge. Is able to take out 2 BR1 members, but nothing else, as BR1 was not present at that ridge. As we can see FOCU pushing up through the tree line, getting to Overlook. But BR1 defense doing a good job of holding them, as we do see Trandic take out a squad leader in the back, getting the commander into play. Right now, BR1 is going to have to find a way to get a majority of their forces on the other side of the river and push North Pass, I feel, from the rear, from that east side. If they're able to flip it on them, take that armor out, and really push that direction, I think they might have a chance. But if they're going to continue to assault from the same direction that they are, it's going to be very difficult for them to dislodge FOCU, as they're doing a fantastic job of getting across the river and establishing their spawn points in key locations. You see 2 more FOCU attackers go down in that smoke. BR1 defense doing a fantastic job of holding that point down anytime that there's cap pressure.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there, Matador. I would like to see, some BR1 assets, kind of move along the river edge, the embankment, and kind of see if they can't, switch FOCU's tactic on them and, start getting some outposts down there and, get a little nitty gritty and dirty, and kind of, pull a little bit of a pincer tactic and see if it can't dislodge FOCU, because when they had Bolts Hills rocking, they were able to push FOCU right out of there.
And we can see in the distance here, BR1 assault squad is doing one of the assault squads is doing a fantastic job of holding this height advantage to the south of North Pass. And that's doing a really good job of cutting off reinforcements that may have to come from Jacob's Barn. However, while they are offering, they're getting bodies and putting cap pressure, it's just not enough, as we can now see that German Panther for FOCU pushing through North Pass, probably going to be heading up to Overlook, as this could be a key time for BR1 to look to push in, because I do not see... Yeah, it looks like both Panthers have now abandoned the FOCU side of the river, so that approach is now open for BR1. However, they're going to have to do it quick, because if both pieces of armor get up to Overlook, that's going to be very difficult for BR1 to be able to take out. That is a lot of heavy armor moving up that direction. As we can see one of those Panthers settling in on the west side of the bridge to provide some cover for the FOCU defenders. And there is that other Panther working his way through the trees, moving up to assist in the assault at Overlook.
That is a dangerous vector it's taken, because what it's doing, it's going right into the cover, BR1, and Lord knows there's probably a guy or two there that has one of the boomsticks, and I'm sure they're rearing to take a shot at that tank.
BR1 doing a really good job of rotating their defense around, getting spots on that Panthers. Here it is, moving into Overlook with one AT trooper trying to work his way behind, get those shots on him. With BR1 armor out of position, moving into town. However, that right there is where the other piece of armor is at 76 for BR1. We can see a squad of FOCU moving up from the south, coming to Overlook, as that Panther does take a shot to the rear from the BR1 AT troop. There goes another shot short, as BR1 really needs to figure out how they're going to assault this point. They need to figure out what vector they want to use, and they need to really throw bodies at that and try to dislodge FOCU. The armor just working its way through the trees, keeping the attention of defense, as the enemy, or the FOCU assault squad, moving up from behind that armor. So armor almost pulling the BR1 defense out of position in order to do what it's got to do and let that infantry in. As we have 2 BR1 AT troops there doing what he can. One gets taken out, and here comes Juliet. As Juliet does go down, the FOCU member who got out to take Juliet out did go down as well. That Panther is in a lot of trouble, as we do have half a squad moving up from the southwest of FOCU. BR1 assault squad spreading themselves out again, trying to get on both sides of the river, trying to push to the North Pass. Almost 2/3 of the way down now. FOCU still maintaining cap at North Pass, with BR1 Still trying to find a right vector to push in. FOCU doing a fantastic job of rotating their defenses around while keeping cap pressure on Overlook, forcing BR1 to keep assets back. As that Panther, again, has taken position on that bridge. And we do have Armor fighting here. 76 versus that Panther. And that Panther's going to win that every time. BR1 Armor goes down yet again. That heavy armor for FOCU doing a really good job of just holding those positions. As BR1 artillery is dropping smoke on that bridge, trying to smoke out that armor. As we can see the armor in the corner of the screen backing out so he doesn't get taken out. A lot of BR1 defense back, a lot of assets back on Overlook, doing what they can to hold it.
You know, now with about 30 minutes left, it's getting to that crunch time where BR1's going to have to make a push here at some point.
Yes, we do have a contest on North Pass. BR1 loses that contest, however, they are keeping that pressure. As we have more supplies coming down for FOCU to get another garrison up, as BR1 is spread out along the ridge line and the south side of North Pass, trying to push themselves in. As that Panther, very badly damaged, is backing away from the bridge. Just waiting to see what vector BR1 decides to approach to pull North Pass. As we can see, again, BR1 defense spreading out, really doing a good job of hunting down the FOCU attackers. As we can see, 2 BR1 members sitting on the hard point. There's going to be Blood and Leon Thotsky doing a great job there. As we do have one FOCU attacker moving in. Hugh again, moving in through the trees. Taking out Blood, it looks like. And then 2 squad leaders for FOCU. I Run and Soups pushing up, taking out a defensive OP. YOLO spawned in, gets taken out. BR1 defense is going to have to rotate back again over to Overlook if they wish to hold it, as there is only a squad leader on the point. Less than 30 minutes left in the match. As we see BR1 trying to figure out what direction they want to come from, where's the weak point, how can they get in and do what they need to do and cap North Pass for the victory, while FOCU maintaining pressure on Overlook, forcing BR1 to keep assets in the rear. This is going to come down, I feel, to BR1 doing one hard push from the right direction, and they just need to find out what direction it's going to be. As we have one BR1 assault squad up here, again, still holding down that bunker complex. Another one moving in from the southwest through the trees. They have lost their ridge line that they have been sitting on the whole match. We will see if they have decided what direction they want to push from, and if they do so, they have just over 24 minutes to start the cap on North Pass without a contest to win. If you're a new to Hell Let Loose, you need at least 2 minutes to cap a point. So this is going to be big for them to get in there and do this. As BR1 has started a cap on North Pass, as they are getting bodies in the right areas to do what they need to do. And there is FOCU again flipping that contest and recapping the point, as they're just keeping bodies right where they need to be in very good defensible positions and with good spawn timing. We do have a small BR1 element pushing in. 1 going down, 2 going down. You know, FOCU is finding really, really good positions to defend this point from. And it's very hard for BR1 to dislodge them off those points. As we have another contest at Overlook with BR1 able to handle that. No cap going to FOCU.
And on top of that, too, FOCU, when it comes to their gunplay, they're not missing their shots either. They're on point. You know, they're well practiced, and it's evident. So, you know, when it comes to those well defendable points, it's just a force multiplier for them.
Yeah, but FOCU has started a cap at Overlook. BR1 has reversed it. But FOCU maintaining that pressure, doing a very good job of keeping BR1 assets pulled back and having to defend and hold that point. As we do have BR1 armor unit moving up through Overlook. Now, this is the toughest part of North Pass, as you can see with the trees being cleared away, having to cross open ground without any real good avenues of approach. This is where FOCU has taken advantage of that by getting into these buildings and really limiting those approaches, as 2 BR1 members go down to an FOCU squad leader down there middle right. But BR1 doing what they can to try to get in and clear these bodies out for, you know, clear FOCU's bodies out. As BR1 has contested, they're doing it. I mean, they're keeping the pressure there. They're just not getting enough bodies there to do anything with it. They'll get the pressure by 1 body, and then somebody will get killed, and FOCU will maintain the cap. Just over 20 minutes left. FOCU firmly established in North Pass. As BR1 is really trying to push their way in and pull some late game heroics here. We will see if BR1's able to do it, or we will see if FOCU's defense is able to hold and come out with a 3-2 victory. Remember, both of these teams in the APAI tournament are undefeated. BR1 3-0, FOCU 2-0, and FOCU having used their bye, and BR1 having a bye next week. We will see how this goes. This is a seeding. This is a match for the seeding position, as it does look like even if BR1 does lose this and FOCU is able to pull a victory out, that they are going to be the top 2 teams in the pool, which means they will both advance to the semifinals in 2 weeks' time. Looks like a BR1 squad is trying to move their way up to the north edge of the map here on this ridgeline and push down. We'll see if they're able to get into that position where that OP keeps getting marked, where FOCU likes to put it right there behind that warehouse by the railway station. And we can see here, this is what FOCU's been doing so well, is spawning a defensive unit behind the lines and pushing through this tree line and dislodging that BR1 assault squad that has been going up to this bunker complex. Great job by the FOCU defenders by, you know, knowing that they have to do that and pushing out that direction and taking care of it. Their FOCU's gunplay is absolutely fantastic, as we've been seeing. They've been winning these battles 1-on-2, 1-on-3s. Well, BR1 is struggling to win these individual gun battles. BR1 looks like they might be staging into tree lines for a large push. We will see if that is what they do. Just over 21 minutes left. We have another BR1 squad there moving down the hill, working their way down. BR1 trying to get bodies and cap pressure on the point. We'll see if they're able to do it, but BR1 members still just keep getting taken down one at a time by individual defenders. BR1 is really going to have to pick it up if they wish to have anything here. And if they wish to do it, as Overlook is now contested, we will see if that cap starts falling. We will go back and see how the defenders are doing and how the attackers are doing as well. We can see BR1 squad, though, 2 or 3 squads doing a good job spreading out on that ridgeline and keeping pressure on. We'll see if they're able to get down into the cap zone and start a cap and hold a cap and possibly finish a cap and flip this with just over 20 minutes left. As we do have some BR1 squads getting in to the outer buildings here, starting to push in, hopefully getting OPs down. There was a slight BR1 contest for a second. BR1 has started to cap with 20 minutes left. FOCU is able to reverse it by that spawn right there, as we can see. But BR1 is getting a lot more bodies into the point than they have previously, as Overlook is starting to get capped. If it gets up to a third, we will fly back and see what's going on, see how BR1 responds to it. But BR1 is in the middle of a big push on North Pass. If their defense is able to take care of business in the rear at Overlook, this might become a cap race. As we do have a heavy plane coming in, could be a bombing run. And there's a BR1, or there's a bombing run right across BR1's approach. That is devastating for BR1, as they lost a handful of their assault troops there that they're going to need to hold this point and put that cap pressure on. So we will see if BR1's able to recover from this and start to cap. They're not there yet, with it looking pretty even body-wise, with 2 Panthers sitting up. And here comes a FOCU half-track as well, providing yet more firepower to North Pass and a spawn point as well. BR1 squad's still trying to fight their way down the hill, get into the city, and do what they need to do and put the pressure on FOCU.
Yeah, it looks like FOCU is really starting to sell out for this point here. This could, inevitably, if they're not able to, withstand this flurry by BR1 here, this could spell the doom for FOCU, or this could, be the great stand that they have for the rest of the match.
Exactly, as FOCU is keeping cap pressure on Overlook. BR1 defense able to turn them away, and here's that half-track. Commander just got shot out of it. However, that is a spawn point. BR1 is going to have to take that out, as Overlook is being capped. We are going to go back and take a look, see where this pressure is coming from. And there it is. You have a 3-man fire team moving into Overlook with 1 BR1 squad member, Yolo Swag, there to defend. Yolo's able to take out 1, take out 2. Is he going to be able to take out Hugh, or is Hugh going to take him out? We will see. As Hugh's retreating back into a building, and it is contested, so FSCU is not capping. BR1 was able to start capping, and they are maintaining the cap as Leon Thotsky and Blood are falling back onto Overlook, forcing Hugh to choose a new position as a BR1 defense yet again turns away another assault from FOCU. BR1 just streaming bodies into the point at this point from south and the west side, trying to get into that good cover of the urban environment. With that assault squad also working their way up that ridgeline as they have in the past. We will see if there's going to be enough pressure to start something. They're going to have to dislodge those defenders out of those buildings, though, as we just see more and more spawns going for FOCU. We got just over 16 minutes left in this match. BR1 is going to have to do something, and do something soon, because I don't think they're going to be able to get a clean cap. This is going to be a dogfight to get this cap, as we have a big spawn by BR1 down to the south along the river. We will see if that's going to be enough to counteract the bodies that FOCU has in the hard cap. As you can see, it's going to be those 4 squares right around there. E34, F34 is where BR1 needs to get their bodies, if not into that hard cap, as we just see BR1 attackers going down along the road, on the bridge, everywhere, as FOCU gunplay and accuracy is really coming to light right now. What BR1 really needs to do is get a squad leader into one of these houses, or into one of these back little courtyards, get an OP down and get a full squad spawn on it. That would be very useful for them in applying the pressure that needs to be done to get this cap going. BR1 assault squad is moving in on the road to the south-facing road, pushing in, trying to get into those buildings, trying to find some cover. The FOCU doing a really good job of staying in their areas, holding those positions as that half-track is trying to find a spot to spot, and that half-track just goes down. Half-track is out. As BR1 did have a contest there for a minute, but like what has happened in the past, they get a contest, then FOCU is able to take out 2 or 3 BR1 members, and BR1 loses a momentum. However, right now, BR1 is starting to cap. A lot of that is going to be from the rear there. A lot of the cap pressure is coming from that assault squad on that hill. But the rest of the BR1 assault squads are going to have to get in there in the system right now. We have just under 15 minutes as FOCU is recapping the point, but BR1 does have the bodies. You just got to push them in. They have FOCU pushed up against the river on the north side of the town. They're just going to have to take advantage of it. We will see if they'll be able to. As we have BR1 armor way here in the back, and it just takes a big shot to the rear and from the front, gets taken out. Great job to get that armor into the back there and provide some type of distraction. However, I do not think they were there that long. FOCU is doing a really good job of taking out this bunker complex spawn every time, and they are now taking Overlook again. As FOCU defense is pushing BR1 back yet again. BR1 does have a contest down, but they lose their contest. As we can see, the BR1 defense doing what they can to hold. As we do have BR1 capping, we do have a cap race now, and Overlook has been contested. So this could be what BR1 needs if they're able to hold on to that cap on the point. As the BR1 defense is doing what they have to do, they're retaking Overlook. Let's see if BR1 is able to push enough bodies down into town here to take control of this cap and win this cap race. And it is contested again. And there we go. FOCU yet again turning this about and in their favor. BR1 capping again. And FOCU capping Overlook. What we have right now is just a back and forth of contest and cap and lose. I mean, this is a cap race through and through. We will see if BR1's able to sell out and get the bodies down here. As we have 2 squads of BR1 up on the hill. We have half a squad pushed into the village. Overlook falling fast. And FOCU defense in town is waning. However, they are on that hard cap, and that is what's giving them the advantage numerically. Now, BR1 is going to have to rotate assets back as FOCU is over a third capped on Overlook. If they do not fall back now, the assault on North Pass will not matter, and FOCU will cap. We have just over 12 minutes left. FOCU halfway capped on Overlook with almost a full squad holding it down. As there's a big BR1 spawn to push into Overlook and try to reverse this. See if they're able to do it. It is contested, and it is going still in FOCU's favor, but much slower than it was before. As FOCU is about 2/3 captured on Overlook, BR1 defense here is going to have to make a move. They're going to have to get in here and dislodge FOCU from Overlook, from the buildings within Overlook. If they do not, they are going to get pushed back. As we see more BR1 assets streaming to the assistance of defense. However, this is going to get close. BR1 is starting to cap again. Now they just lost. FOCU is maintaining it. As FOCU is winning these one-on-ones, we just see BR1 defenders keep dropping. As there's a big spawn by FOCU attackers on the point. This is gonna be a key part of this. BR1 is starting to recap the point, but FOCU is well dug in this building. We will see if BR1 is able, as we can see multiple squads falling back now to Overlook. With just over 10 minutes left, BR1 throwing everything they have at Overlook to recap it and abandoning North Pass. Right now, this is all about seeding. It's all about cap points. So BR1 does not, for two reasons. They don't want to lose 4-1 or 5-0 because that's a big loss. 3-2 is much better. And with that, it is all about those cap points if it does come to down to a tiebreaker. As a majority of FOCU is gone off of Overlook, and BR1 defense is taking that back. So good job by BR1 by rotating those assets, as we do have a piece of FOCU armor badly damaged here on the wrong side of the river with Super for BR1 chasing them down. That BR1 assault squad up on the hill pulling a lot of assets away from the hard cap, as we do have once BR1 squad member or squad leader left underneath the bridge. The kid, we'll see if he's able to take out Leroy Jenkins. Leroy takes him out again. That has been the story of the night there. FOCU just winning those one-on-one battles and doing what they need to do. I mean, Shammer, the gunplay by FOCU today has been on full display, while BR1 is just losing those one-on-one, those two-on-one battles.
Yeah, historically, it's gone the other way for BR1. Usually they're the top guys when it comes to gunplay. They're just getting outclassed today. And, what they're going to have to do is, it's zero blitz time. They're going to have to send everybody in here within the next 5 minutes and, forgo all defense, just full-on attack.
Yeah, I mean, we're just under 8.5 minutes here, a few seconds or 8.5. And FOCU is holding 3-2. They have held North Pass the entire match by fantastic defensive play and very well-timed spawns with very good armor support. This is definitely a different type of armor played, and BR1 has seen this entire tournament. It's much more active. While they are using at least one armor piece as kind of that mobile gun platform, they are also using another one to kind of as a hunter-killer, getting out there, finding the BR1 approach and taking them out. We can see BR1 is pushing hard down off this hill to the southeast of the point. We will see if they're able to get in and do what they need to do. This is definitely a different vector than they have taken before. They don't have as much cover there. It's a much more open ground. However, there are some trenches and bunkers that they can take advantage of. As it looks like that rocket just went down trying to take out a garrison. And unless that garrison is inside, it was taken out. I believe Lionheart's going to go check. But BR1 is positioning themselves very well for a final push. We will see if they're able to do it. We are at 7 minutes. And I will say a lot of the matches in the APA, not only BR1, but for a lot of the other teams, have come down to the last 10 minutes of a match. So all these teams are good at what they do. They are good competitive teams at this 35v35 level. As a BR1 anti-tank troop takes out something, it could have been a half track. As we see that hunter-killer armor moving out yet again. As we see a flare go up from a BR1 spotter. 6.5 minutes left. Is BR1 going to be able to steal this from FOCU, or is FOCU's defense going to be able to do what it needs to do? As there was a bombing strike, or a precision airstrike, that did miss that armor, so that armor is still in play. As we have an ammo cache dropping down for FOCU. But BR1 still coming down off that mountainside. Well, we have FOCU in the burned out trees and BR1 in that ridge that they have been using so much, overlooking overpass. We'll see how this works, as we can see both sides of BR1 collapsing down on North Pass. This is what you were talking about earlier, Sham. We're trying to do a pincer movement. We will see if BR1's able to do it. We have a big assault spawn there to the southwest. It looks like BR1 is going to be selling all out right now. We will see if this is going to work in their favor, as there are not many FOCU defenders left on point. This could be what BR1 needs right now, but they're going to have to win these one-on-one battles. There goes a bombing run across the point. Just missing a two-man spawn wave underneath the bridge for FOCU. As we can see, FOCU consolidating their defense right there around that warehouse. So BR1 is really going to have to push in right now. This is that pincer movement, Shammer, like I was saying. This is what you're looking for. This is what they need to do. Hit FOCU from multiple sides. Take out the Garys and OPs. And win these gun battles. As BR1 did contest here for a second. It is contested yet again. As there's a big spawn on a garrison for defense. In that same spot. And there goes a flare. So BR1 selling all out right now. This is it. 4.5 minutes left. Is this BR1 cell going to do what it needs to do, or is FOCU's defense going to do what it needs to do and hold? As that defensive garrison did get taken out by a great rocket, so BR1 does have prime advantage right now to move in, because there is no garrison spawn right now for the FOCU defenders. This is BR1's time. This is what they need to do. But we can see here the FOCU defenders coming the long trek from Jacob's Barn to push up from the rear of the pincer movement, and these gun battles going FOCU's way. Unless BR1 is able to get there, I think this is going to go FOCU's way for this match. 3:45 left. BR1's going to have to do something right now. This is their time. If they don't do it, it's over. We have a big push coming from the west. Everyone's going to be in on this push for BR1 as they have to take this. And FOCU spreading out a little bit through town while maintaining pressure in the hard cap.
Keep in mind that armor piece did get forced out of cover. So look for somebody on the sticks to possibly take a shot at it.
As you can see, another spawn by FOCU. They're doing a fantastic job of getting spawns where they need to be and get bodies on the point. BR1 losing that southeast attack that they had so many bodies on. BR1 has to start a cap in 50 seconds or this is all but over. We will see if they're able to do it, but with the FOCU defense spread out the way it is, I think it might be too little too late by BR1. I think their chance was when that pincer movement was in a good position before it got taken out. It just didn't act fast enough. 30 seconds. BR1 has to sell all out right now. Get those bodies down. They got to get into the hard cap. It doesn't look like you're going to get it, as that hard cap is defended by a Panther and quite a few infantry. But we will see 17, 16 seconds. They got to get in there, as we do see BR1 streaming into town. And there's a BR1 strafing run taking out a handful. BR1 was not able to start the cap at the 2-minute mark. As we can see, two Panthers side by side holding down this hard cap. Just providing an iron wall there as BR1 is attempting to push into town. And now the Panthers are starting to move out as one ricochets a shot off. And there's a bombing run. FOCU's, I believe, trying to clear out those BR1 attackers. But that did miss, as we see the Hunter Killers moving up, both armor moving up that road, taking hits, but not going the right direction, as a majority of BR1 defense, or the attacking force, is in town. 1 minute left here. As we see BR1's with a lot of bodies on the point. BR1 has everybody they have streaming into North Pass, but we're at under a minute. They're going to have to get a large amount of bodies on that hard cap. for anything to happen. I don't think he did. I think FOCU was able to hold this off as much as possible. As Overlook has now been contested. BR1 has started a cap, though. It did get reversed. With BR1 streaming in. 30 seconds left. They're not going to have time. They did start the cap, however. It is a cap race now. But there's just not going to be enough time. Fantastic defense on FOCU side. BR1's assault tenacious as ever. We were just not able to break it. Everybody, thank you for coming out. Great game by both sides. Hats off to FOCU. I'm sure you will see BR1 in the semifinals, depending on how everything shakes out. But there we go. FOCU wins 3-2 full match against BR1. As we scroll through the scores here. Shammer, final impression.
FOCU just had better gunplay. They once they got North Pass, they were able to use the 2-tank method. I don't think BR1 was quite ready for that. I don't think they saw it before. They probably haven't had anything like that, in the past to study off of. It was a new, unique method that they came up against. But BR1 gave it one hell of a shot. Hey, this is nothing, to hang your hat on. This is a good learning lesson. This is kind of the barometer for them for the tournament.
Yeah, and I think it was really good for BR1 to see that type of armor play because they will be seeing it again. Again, just a reminder, BR1 does not have a match next week for Hell Let Loose. However, we may have a Postscriptum realism match, so keep an eye out. Toss a subscription in there if it's your first time joining the channel and watching. That way you will be notified when we do have something going live, whether it's a Postscriptum match or it's Hell Let Loose or one of our other games. We may have some of our streamers going live as well. So keep an eye out. And yeah, I believe FOCU had the advantage. They took North Pass first. They got there first. They're able to be flexible. They use their armor in a way that BR1 has not seen. So hats off to them. BR1 has a bye next week, so their final record for pool play will be 3-1 with 11 cap points. And FOCU will be moving on to 3-0 with one match to play with 13 cap points. Great job, FOCU. Great job, BR1. Everybody tune in to APAI next week for the final pool play. And that is it for BR1 TV. This is Matador and Shammer signing off. Thank you so much for coming. We will see you next time.